The first president of the Philippines is Emilio Aguinaldo. He was born on March 22, 1869 in Cavite. He was considered the first Filipino leader and politician who fought against the Spain and later against the United States of America. In June 12, 1898, Emilio Aguinaldo achieved independence of the Philippines from Spain and was elected as the first president of the new republic under the Malolos Congress at the age of 29. Emilio Aguinaldo, or also known as Myong, was born 7th out of the 8 children. His parents were of Chinese and Tagalog descent, and at the age of 9, his father Carlos died. Aguinaldo went to Colegio de San Juan de Letran. However, due to a cholera outbreak, he had to cut his studies short. He then returned home to Kawit, Cavite, where he developed a growing awareness of Filipino frustration with Spanish colonization rule. While serving as the head of the border in Manila, he joined the Pillar Lodge chapter of the Freemasonry in 1895, which was a government and church-banned resistance group. Through this group, Emilio Aguinaldo met Andres Bonifacio, who is a key figure in the fight to overthrow Spanish rule. In 1895, Aguinaldo took up a secret society of revolutionaries headed by fellow lodge member Andres Bonifacio. December 1897 is when Aguinaldo had managed to reach the Truce of Biak na Bato with Spain. He and his rebels agreed to a surrendering of arms and accepted exile to Hong Kong in exchange for amnesty, indemnity, and liberal reform. However, neither side gave way, and none of them agreed to the conditions of bargaining. At the age of 94, Emilio Aguinaldo died from a heart attack.
Jose Paciano Laurel y Garcia was a Filipino politician and a judge. He was the president of the Second Philippine Republic, a Japanese puppet state when occupied during World War II from 1943 to 1945.
Laurel was born and raised in a town south of Manila. His father served in the cabinet of Emilio Aguinaldo in the late 1890s. The younger Laurel received a law degree from the University of the Philippines in 1915.
Dr. Jose P. Laurel first expressed his desire to establish a local counterpart for the Philippine Society of Japan, also known as Philippine Kyokai, in 1959.
He entered politics and he was elected to the Philippine Senate in 1925, serving there until he was appointed an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court in 1936.
Following the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, and the subsequent Japanese assault on the Philippines, Laurel stayed in Manila. President Manuel Quezon had escaped, first to the Bataan Peninsula and then to the United States. Laurel offered his services to the Japanese, and because of his criticism of U.S. rule of the Philippines, he held a series of high posts in 1942 to 1943.
Some facts about him. First, Jose Laurel survived 3 gunshot wounds. Second, he saved Manuel Rojas' life twice. Third, he ran for senator one last time and he won. Fourth, he was a reluctant collaborator.
Manuel L. Quezon. Manuel Luis Quezon de Molina was a Filipino statesman, soldier, and politician who served as President of the Commonwealth of the Philippines from 1935 to 1944. He is the second President of the Philippines. The story begins on August 19, 1878, when Kazan was born in the sleepy town of Baler to teachers, Lucio Quezon, a Tagalog from Paco, and Maria Dolores Molina, a Spanish mestiza from Baler. At 9 years old, he was brought to Manila as a mess boy to study at Colegio de San Juan de Letran. As a student, he successfully graduated with an AB degree, summa cum laude, and with the title Experienced Surveyor and Appraiser of Lands. He further pursued law studies as a working student at the University of Santo Tomas in 1895. When the Philippine-American War broke out, Kazan joined the military as an aide-de-camp. As a soldier, he was promoted to first lieutenant, and later on, assigned to the General Staff of President Aguinaldo. He rose the ranks from captain to major. When news came of President Aguinaldo's capture, Kazan's mission was to verify this news. He surrendered in order to confirm the capture of the president. He remained in American custody for nearly 6 months. When he was released, Kazan resumed his law studies and started working at Monte de Piedad as a clerk. He laid down his arm, but he never laid down his zeal for freedom. Kazan ran for governor of Tayabas and won. He was later elected as the representative of Tayabas to the Philippine Assembly, and later became Majority Floor Leader. He was then elected as resident commissioner to represent the Philippines in the U.S. House of Representatives. He helped in the enactment of the Jones Law, which paved the way to Philippine independence. In 1916, he was elected as a senator. He holds the distinction of being the first and longest-serving Senate President of the Philippines. In 1918, he married Aurora Aragon Quezon in a solemn ceremony in Hong Kong. He led several independence missions to prove the capacity of the Philippines to govern itself. The result of these missions is considered one of his greatest achievements. He opposed the Hair Hose Cutting Act in favor of the ratification of the Tidings-McDuffie Act. This act paved way to a 10-year transitional government called the Commonwealth, which scheduled Philippine independence for July 4, 1946.
Quezon was elected first president of the Commonwealth in 1935. Quezon's administration advocated three core concepts, which is national defense, economic growth, and efficient government. He pioneered economic programs, policies, and established numerous departments. He implemented educational reforms and institutionalized Filipino as the national language. He instituted public utilities, including the Manila Railroad Company, which facilitated efficient transportation from Bicol to Manila. Quezon was re-elected to the presidency in November 1941. The country was content and at peace until the sudden invasion of the Empire of Japan on December 1941. When war broke out, Quezon was a symbol of hope and freedom for the Filipino people. To continue the fight, he moved his government to the fortress island of Corregidor and eventually to the United States at the advice of Field Marshal Douglas MacArthur. In the United States, he established the Commonwealth government in exile and served on the Pacific War Council. Through him, the Philippines joined the United Nations, receiving recognition as an allied nation. He tirelessly campaigned to hasten the rescue of the Philippines. He would never get to see the freedom come to pass. On August 1, 1944, President Kazan died of tuberculosis at Saranac Lake, New York. He was accorded with special honors in Washington, D.C., and was temporarily buried in Arlington Cemetery. Finally, on July 4, 1946, Quezon's dream of an independent Republic of the Philippines successfully happened. The lowering of the American flag and raising of the Philippine flag symbolized the freedom of the Philippines from the United States. Through the efforts and the selfless dedication of Manuel Quezon, On July 27, 1946, Quezon's remains finally came home. He was buried in the North Cemetery on August 1, 1946. 30 years after, Quezon's remains were transferred to the Quezon Memorial Shrine, the President's final resting place. Today, this shrine remains a testament to a great life devoted to the happiness and freedom of the Filipino people that led to the formation of the modern republic we know today. As Manuel Rojas eloquently put it, we are a free people and a free nation in large part because of him.